Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy. Do you see this door? Okay. So I understand people going, wait, just wait. I get it, you're right. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with Whatever You Want-A-Thon. So I've mentioned this in my TPR, but I'm participating in Whatever You Want-A-Thon this month of June, which is hosted by Maddie over at Book, a browsing blog. I will leave her announcement down below, but it's basically like you can read whatever you want. There are prompts that you can do, there are extra points that you can get, there are teams you can be on. You can go full on, very competitive, or you can just kind of like chill and do whatever you want. It's whatever you want. You do have to set a goal to read by the end of the year, or by the end of the year, by the end of the month. But beyond that, it's very up to you. So I set a goal of 8 books, but I do have if you see my TBR, I have so many books. But I am planning on vlogging every single week, though we'll see how that works with my schedule. But I thought I'd come on here and tell you the 2 that I'm planning on starting the month with. So I think I'm going to start my physical read with A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova. This is one that I've had on my list for a long time. This fills the prompt of indie published book. I believe that's the only one that it fills. I mean, I'm sure it fulfills more, but that's the one that I'm using it for. And it's an indie published book that's loosely based on Beauty and the Beast and Hades and Persephone, but it's about an elf king who comes to a village and takes our main character as his wife. There's much more to it than that, but that's the main point. But this cover is stunning. I've had this for a very long time and I want to read it. So that's my first physical book. I don't know how long it'll take me to get through it, but that's my first physical book. And then I'm debating on what audiobook I want to start, because I do have Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert ready from the library, but I also really want to start Akamath. But I feel like this will be better if I have a dedicated weekend kind of to it. So I think we'll see. I'll let you know what actually ends up happening. But I think I'm going to start with this one, and then this will be the second one I pick up, so I can start the week with this and then end of the week with Akamath and have my weekend dedicated to it. So yeah, I think that's my plan. These are the 2 I'm going to start. But just wanted to come on here and introduce the vlog and tell you what I'm starting with. I'm very excited. Hello, I'm here to give you updates. It is the 2nd of June, so it's been a day, and I have finished Take a Hint, Danny Brown, so I'm here to tell you about it. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. It was incredible. I think it's right up there with the first one. They're kind of even in my head right now. It's which one wins because they're so cute. Each one tackles different issues and it's just glorious. So this one was in for the prompt of mental health or disability representation. So our main male character, Zaf, suffers from anxiety. And so it's like a big thing in this book, so obviously trigger warnings for that. There is at least one on-page panic attack, so trigger warnings for that. There is a lot of talk as well in this book of loss of a loved one, specifically, and this one is loss of a parent and loss of a sibling. So if those are triggers for you, I would be wary of those. But it's still the amazingly witty, sarcastic, humorous writing style of Talia Hibbert that I came to love in the first book, and it just gets better. Like, it's just, I love her writing. I want to read everything by her at this point because her writing is incredible. So this was very, very good. It, I think, was a little bit steamier than the first one, but I think that is primarily because of the plot and how the fact of Danny is focused on having kind of a friends with benefits situation. She doesn't want a relationship, and so she focuses on trying to get Zaf in bed, basically, and he's trying to not fall for her and maybe change her mind on that and give him a chance. But I think because of that, it gets steamier quickly, more quickly than the first book. You know, the first book is also incredibly steamy. It's just, I think it takes place sooner in this book based on kind of the plot and the situations of our characters. But I loved it. It was so much fun. I can't wait to see Eve's story. I did like that we got a little hint as to the order, I guess, of the girls. For example, like, I knew that Eve was the youngest, but going into Chloe Brown, I didn't know, you know, if she or Danny was older, but Danny is the middle sister and Chloe is the oldest, so we're kind of going in order from oldest to youngest in this series. But it was very cute. I loved it. I loved the fake dating relationship situation because it's one of my favorite tropes, so I was all for that. And they're so cute and it makes me happy. And there's a lot of rep in here, not just like mental health rep and trauma rep, but specifically like our characters, because our main female lead, Danny Brown, is a Black bisexual woman, and then you've also got our main male lead, who is Zaf, and he is a Muslim Pakistani man. And so you get a lot of rep with just our main characters, and then I think there's also more as it trickles down from there. I have nothing but good things to say about Danny Brown. I loved this book. I loved her writing. It got 5 stars. Obviously, that should not be a surprise because I loved it so much. So, first book done. I'm very excited about that. I did, as you saw last night, start Deal with an Elf King. I've made it a chapter. I'm somewhere in chapter 2. I've been kind of reading on and off all day, so like 15 pages maybe into this book, so not too far. There are little things that I'm picking up that, like, I automatically already, less than 10 pages in, disliked the best friend because of some of the stuff that he was saying and some of the, like, not necessarily pressurings, but he just feels very manipulative, and I don't like him, and I don't think he's going to be a big part of the story. I think he's just here to kind of set the tone for the beginning of the book, kind of setting what our main character's life was like before the elves come and get her. There's just something about him. He seems very toxic. He seems very controlling. He says some things about women, and I'm just like uncomfortable with all of that. So I don't particularly love him, and I'm not sure if the author meant to do that because, like, I don't think we're supposed to love him because obviously that's not who she ends up with. But it's just so much that I'm not sure if it was intentional as to how much I dislike him. But I'm very interested to continue. Like I said, I'm barely scratched the surface on this book. So there's so much more to go, and I'm very excited. But I'm still really intrigued by the story, but I'm not into it enough to really have an opinion. Beyond that, I really don't like this best friend whose name is Luke. So there's that. But I did start the audiobook for Akamath today. I am doing a separate video of this, as well as Aka War if I get around to it this month, of spoilers. So stay tuned for that. But I will continue to talk about them in this vlog. I don't even think I finished the first chapter, to be honest. I'm barely into it. But I already am annoyed at Tamlin, and he was like amazing in the last book. I loved him so much, and already I'm like done with him. And I have lots of theories about what's going to happen with the romance in this book and where it's going to lead and all that fun stuff. Again, I'm not enough into it to really, you know, have an opinion. But I did start it, so there's that. I plan to get a lot more of this read in the next couple of days. I have a light end of the week. I'm working from home tomorrow, and then next week I'm going to work from home most of the week. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get more read. But that's my update. I have finished my first book, and I'm in the middle of 2. Oh, I just realized that these are both fairy romances. I probably should not have done that to myself. Oh well, here we are. Hello. So I was sitting here filming my wrap up and decided that I would just use the setup to film a few more things. So I've decided to give you a quick update on my reading. I am quite far into Akamath. Wow. I'm on page 396 or 398 and chapter 42. So just, I don't know, 60% of the way through this book, maybe. Very, very much enjoying it. I am going to be doing, because I hate myself, I'm doing a spoilery vlog of the ACOTAR series, so that'll be coming out as well. So I'm trying not to give you spoilery thoughts here. I'll do it there. But this is really great. I definitely understand why people say just wait until you read the second one. The love interest from the first book, within like the first 50 pages of this book, was already angry at him and wanted him to go fall in a hole. So I understand people going, wait, just wait. I get it. You're right. Just wait. There's a lot of world building. There's a lot of stuff around Feyre within this book, who is our main character. And because of some of the stuff that happens at the end of the first book, she is learning some things about herself in this book, which is very fun and fascinating. I love that part of it. I love all like the mythology that surrounds this world. I think it's fascinating as well. I'm very much enjoying it. So yeah, tabbing like crazy. Maybe not like crazy, but definitely tabbing this book. And I'm very much enjoying it. I've just been reading this for like 2 days straight. So I expect to finish this probably not today, but tomorrow. So that'll be great. And that's really the only progress I've made. I have not picked up A Deal with the Elf King just because these two worlds I feel like feel very similar and I don't want to get them mixed up. So I might hold off on this one and pick up another book physically because like I'm fascinated. I want to keep going with this book, but I don't want to get confused with what happens in the ACOTAR series. And so I'm wondering if I can finish this book and then maybe pick this up, or if I should wait until I pick up the third book next week and then do this one the last like couple of weeks in the month. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's probably what's going to happen. I'm probably going to pause this for a little bit and pick something else up. But I have had no time to do anything else because I've been listening to this and physically reading along. And this is taking over my life, and I love every second of it. So I expect 5 stars from this. I don't remember what, let's look this up. I know this fits one of my TBR basket prompts, but I think this also fits the prompt of like a book with the same color as your team, because I am on the Dreams and Drama Queens one that Ashley and Maddie are on, and so I think, yeah, cover with your team color is what this is in for, but this could also be in for a 5-star prediction. Hauled in the last year, fit a TBR game prompt, you know. It could fit like 10 different things, but I think I'm gonna try to get to everything that I want to this month, but this is gonna be primarily for team color because it is minty, but it's close enough to green that I feel like it'll work. And I'm loving it so much. So I just came on here to tell you hello. Here is my face. I have not neglected you. I've just been reading. This, my heart is happy. Oh, I have a book to show you because one of the books that I need to read this month came in the mail. Pause. So a couple of days ago, my copy of Rick by Alex Gino came in the mail. It's definitely taller than the other one is, but it just feels like a normal paperback. And this is for the one with Pride flag on it. So it follows our main character, Rick, who, this is a companion sequel to George by the same author, which I read last year. And George is about a girl who is in elementary school. She's specifically in 4th grade, and she knows she's a girl, but she looks like a boy to everybody else. So it follows her story as she kind of like tells her best friend and her family and stuff like that. And in that book, there's a group of people who kind of bully George, and one of them is Rick. Now, Rick isn't like the main guy, because Rick actually used to be friends with George when they were younger, and Rick just happens to now be friends with this guy who was picking on George. And so like you could tell in the first book he didn't love that this guy was picking on George, but this follows him, and I believe they're now in middle school. It's been a few years, yeah, now in middle school. And he is kind of embarking on his own journey with his own kind of sexuality and that kind of thing. It doesn't say on the back of what he identifies as. I think that's an important thing to leave out, just because like this book is about his exploration, so he's figuring it out, and so we get to figure it out with him. But yeah, I got my copy in the mail, and this cover is just it's so pretty. Like you can even see George is on there. It's definitely like lower middle school, I would say, just based on like some of the, you know, like it's bigger font, that kind of thing. It's the first one, George, was definitely written for like elementary school, so this is probably his step into middle school. But I love it. So I did get that in the mail. So now I have all of the books that I need to read, and I'm excited. This one is really calling my name. I'm feeling like this one might be the next book that I physically pick up. Maybe next week. I'm not sure I'm going to have time this weekend because my life has been taken over. This is who I am now. But yeah, that's my update. I'll let you know when I finished this. Sunday night-ish. It's still bright outside, but like it's like 5. And I'm here to wrap up this vlog because I did finish another book, but it is Sunday and we're gonna stop recording for the week, but we'll start right back up tomorrow. But I did just finish ACOMAF, which was to read a book with, I think I've said this before, it's to read a book with your team color. So mine is green. I read this. I haven't put it through Copal yet, but I can promise you it's going to get 5 stars. I loved this. This one, I understand why people say just wait until you get to the second book, because it changes the entire kind of like idea or structure of the series. It is fantastic. I have a feeling, unless the third one does incredible things, I have a feeling this one might be my favorite. I definitely love it more than the first one, and I gave the first one 5 stars as well. So this series, I get it. I understand. Ugh, I'm so happy I read this. So yeah, I plowed through this in like a few days. You can see by all of the tabs that I really very much enjoyed this. The plot was great. The one thing that I liked, that I found interesting about this book, is that as far as like the series goes, I've heard the third one is more plot driven than this one, whereas this one is a lot about dealing with trauma and dealing with kind of like some of the things that happen to a few of our characters at the end of the first book, whereas the first book is more romantic plot line, I guess you could say. This one is more romantic, dealing with your trauma thing. Like, there's romantic scenes in this, but it is all about Feyre dealing with traumatic things that have happened and getting the support that she needs, and also learning a lot about herself, because there's some things that have changed for her at the end of the last book, and so there's a lot of like kind of figuring out who she is, where she fits in with this world, that kind of thing. And I loved it. So I don't have a whole lot to say on it, just because it's the second in a series. A lot of big things happen here. Everyone says wait until chapter 55. I understand now. I would say 54/55, like those two they come together. But yeah, I understand why everyone's like, just wait until you get there. Yeah, 5 stars. I'm so happy. So that means that this week I have finished 2 books, which is not a number. I would like it to be more based on the amount of books that I'm trying to read this month, but with one of them being super, super thick, I'm going to give myself some wiggle room. Also, it was somewhat of a shorter week, kind of, because the first was Tuesday instead of, like, Monday. But I did start off the week reading Take a Hint of Danny Brown by Talia Hilbert. Gave that one 5 stars, and then, you know, ACOMAF I gave 5 stars. So a great start to the month. These kind of go together, because the colors match. That's funny. So a great start to the month. I had a couple of 5-star reads, which is fantastic. A couple of things I'm bringing into next week. I think you saw, but I started the first volume of Witch Hat Atelier last night. I wanted to read something in bed, but I didn't. I just wanted to pick my manga. It's kind of what I was feeling. So I made it 70, almost 70 pages into this book. So I will be picking this one up tonight before bed and probably finishing it tonight or tomorrow before bed at some time as well. So that's the one that I'm bringing into next week. And then also I deal with an Elf King, which I think, again, I'm gonna put on hold for right now, just because like I'm so interested in this. I really, really want to read it, but I don't want this kind of like fairy romance to interfere with ACOTAR series, because I am planning on reading ACOMAF next week as well. So I don't want to get this plot line confused with that plot line. So I'm gonna go through that one first, and then we'll pick this one up. So you might not see this one next week, but I think you'll see it the week after. But yeah, those are the 2 that are kind of coming into next week with me. Finished 2 books, so pretty great first week, if I do say so myself. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you're participating in the Whateverathon. Let me know how your reading is going. If you're not, let me know how your weekly reading went, or if you've read the books that I have mentioned in this vlog, let me know your thoughts as well, because I had some really great reads. But if you liked this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you want to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media as well as other fun bookish links down there, so don't forget to check all of those out, and I'll see you guys in my next vlog. Bye!